Erica and Sharon are sisters who began their grief journey in 2006 when Erica's 10-year-old son Austin drowned. Together, they participated in a grief education program, were so moved by this experience, they studied and became specialists so they could help the brokenhearted find recovery. In 2015, tragedy struck their family once again when Erica's oldest son Donovan was killed in a motorcycle accident. Erica and Sharon are committed to sharing their experiences of love, loss, and healing through this podcast. Now your grief specialists, Sharon and Erica.
There is no doubt in my mind that the brain plays tricks on you when you're grieving. The brain plays tricks, and then you lean into those tricks because sometimes they're so helpful, right? So it's not just things that are happening to you, but it is also things that you're thinking. So there's two parts of the brain playing tricks. So I want to break them down. Number one, you and I just discovered something. We just said something. We just shared something that we didn't even know the other person was feeling. I moved to Texas a year ago. And since I got to Texas, I keep feeling like I'm seeing something out of the corner of my eye. Or actually, yesterday, I felt like somebody was shaking my chair. Now, you guys, I'm not trying to freak you out. And I'm not freaked out in any way, but in my gut and my heart, I truly believe that when we lose somebody we love so much, that we end up having a spiritual relationship with them. And I don't want to go into that deeply because I don't know enough about it. But here's the second part of that. I keep feeling like I'm seeing something, so I keep turning my head. And in my gut, I always feel like it's Donovan. I just have always felt like it was Donovan.
So that's what we just both shared, because I was asking you how you came up with this topic, and you're like, you said it was something I was sharing with someone else the other day, but then so you wrote it down, but you said it's been happening to you. And I said, well, I never shared that with you. I see something out of the corner of my eye. And you go, no, I see something out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, me too. And I do. I've always felt that it was Donovan. I've never felt that it was Austin. And it's like when you see someone like out of your peripheral vision, like there's someone standing there. And you turn towards it
standing there,
and there's no one there. So then you're like, okay, going crazy.
Sometimes I'll even say in my brain, okay, Donovan, I see you. It was happening to me last night in the kitchen a lot. I was cooking dinner and it kept happening to my left. It's not always to my right. And sometimes I'll just say, okay, Donovan, I see you. Like just letting him know. And I'm not trying to be weird if anyone's getting offended or thinking this is weird. I just feel like it's him. I don't know why. But
well, the fact that we both have the experience and we both feel the same thing, I feel like that's kind of weird in itself.
And we've never talked about it.
We've never talked about it. The other thing that used to happen to me when I was sleeping all day, Donovan used to do this thing. It was my absolute favorite. He would open the door coming from the garage into the laundry room. He would slam the door and he would yell, "Ma!" In my dead sleep, I would hear that. And I would sit up. And you kind of have that moment of like waiting, like, is he here? And then, then everything just comes flooding in of, no, he's gone. He died.
Yeah.
It's not him. You're definitely going crazy. Go back to sleep. Just kidding.
Okay, crazy. Go back to sleep.
No, but it's so real. When it happens, though, my point was
100% real.
It feels so real.
So I share quite often with grievers how in March of 2020, my precious little baby, Baron, you own the sister of Baron. Your dog was Sister and I had Baron. They were Staffordshire Terriers. And Baron's back went out. And it's something that we've been dealing with for a very long time. But this day, I just knew it was the last time. And so that night at 1 a.m, Tony and I had to take him to the vet. And we knew we were taking him to put him to sleep. So COVID had just started. It was the middle of the night. So they let us both in the office. A month later, we had him cremated. They called us. They said the ashes were ready. Tony went to pick up the ashes. He brought them home. And I was in such a grieving state. He goes, what do I do with this? And I said, I don't know. Just put it in the garage. Because I didn't know what to do with it. We were packing and getting ready to come here. But for the next 3 weeks at 9 p.m., I could hear him whining. I could hear Barry whining because he would do that to me every night. I'd be in my office working. He'd be sitting right by my feet. He would start whining, and it was my signal. He was like, it's time for us to go to bed. And it was 9 o'clock every night. So at 9 o'clock every night, I would hear this dog whine. The difference is with me, I started telling everybody in the house. So we're locked up. It's Tony, my mom, and my cousin. We were all locked together during COVID. And I said, you guys, I can hear Baron whining at 9 o'clock. I can hear him whining. And finally, my husband said, well, why don't you take the ashes and put him in our bedroom where he sleeps? Maybe he wants to be put in the bedroom. And the minute I put the ashes in there, I didn't hear him anymore. And that's exactly what he wanted. And so, yes, does the brain play tricks on us? Yes. Can we hear it? To me, I was hearing him. But we even have grievers tell us that they see their loved one. They see their person. They'll be out and about and they see their person.
Yeah. Well, it's like, because that happened to me a lot too. Every kid with dark hair
Yeah.
and a baseball cap on, just walking. And when it makes you pick
Yeah.
up your head, like you're automatically alert, like, who's that?
Yeah.
And it's such a surreal experience because you do feel like it's a dream and you want it so bad. I
You
think that's the
want
thing too.
it so
You want it
bad.
so bad to be them. So
Yeah.
that's where I think the brain definitely plays the tricks because we want it to be that. So we're manifesting it almost. So
Yeah.
it's like I wanted every young kid with a baseball cap to be Donovan. I didn't
Yeah.
want him to be gone.
Yeah.
I don't think I had this after Austin. I was trying to think like while you're sharing if I had this, but I don't think I did. So I don't know what the difference is.
I
I wonder,
honestly,
is it a trauma response, you think?
oh, I think for sure, 100% it's a trauma response. Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yes. And the other thing is if you lean into it, it's sort of comforting.
Yeah.
You don't want to live it, but you can lean into it and let it be comforting.
I think it's comforting for us now because of the work that we've done. But I think if we were in the first year of the grief and the pain, it's not comforting because you're just missing them so bad. You're longing for them so much and you're so broken and sad.
Yeah.
I didn't feel comforted. I don't know. Let me think. Hold on. Let me think for a second because I want to try to go back. I didn't feel comforted when I thought I heard him saying Ma. I missed it so much.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You know what I mean? I
I
miss it so much. And then after you hear it, so back then, my follow-up, like we just finished recording about the thoughts, my thought was, I'm never going to hear that again.
Mhm.
So then it's so sad.
Yeah.
But now at this stage, it's comforting. Like when I feel like the same thing. Donovan's standing right there and I'm like, okay, all right.
So funny that we both shared the same thing. Okay, so talking about the comforting, I was glad that Baron picked me
Yeah.
to whine to. Like I felt honored that he picked me. That's how I felt. Like, oh my gosh, I'm the one that can hear.
Yeah.
It's the
I am
best dog ever.
that's a great breed. Great.
Yeah.
Breed. But the thing about it is you get that one good dog. It's almost like your kids. And then you get tricked into having that second one and it's not as good as I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Sorry, Jordan.
Wait, I was going to say something. In the beginning, so in the very, very beginning, I would say days after Donovan died, I could feel him in my room. I could feel his presence in my room. But he knows I'm such a freak about like supernatural and all that stuff, all that charm stuff we watch. I would say to him, don't show yourself because I don't want to see you. You'll freak me out. But I know you're here.
Thank you, but don't.
Yeah.
Okay, where do you put this in the category? After Donovan died, you would pretend that he was gone away on one of his National Guard missions. is that the brain playing tricks, or that you playing tricks with your brain to allow you not to feel the pain? How would you put that in the category?
I would say it's the brain because it's trying to find any little thing to give you a reprieve from the pain. So if it makes you think he's just out on his 2 week
Yeah,
duty,
yeah,
then you're fine.
yeah,
Because the minute you think, and I have a girlfriend that used to say that her stepson was away at college. He went back to college
yeah,
because it makes the loneliness, the emptiness, and the sadness a little less if you think that way. So it's the brain for sure. The brain is trying to protect you at all costs.
Isn't that interesting? It's
Yeah.
so interesting. And that actually is some great examples of how the brain is really trying to protect you from feeling it. Because what would happen is, as long as you're pretending, right? As long as you're pretending that he's gone, you're not dropping down into the heart. You're not, why would I
Right.
feel sad? He's at Fort Lagoon or whatever they're called. He's at this place. He's at this camp out. So as long as you're
Right.
that way, you don't have to drop in the heart and feel sad, lonely, isolated, grief, gut wrenching, death, like you feel like you're rotting from the inside.
Yeah. That is so true. And it's so natural to want, it's like instinctual because you kind of just come up on that and you're like, okay. The issue is when you live that reality, you start trying to live that reality
Yeah.
out
Yeah,
because that's very temporary. I think that's the thing to understand. That is very, very temporary because you cannot continue. It cannot go 1 year, 2 year,
yeah,
and he's still on that 2 week mission. Like
yeah,
then you get in a danger zone. But it's people will try to do that because they definitely want to avoid dropping down in the heart at all costs.
yeah. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that. It's a protection mechanism. That's not the worst protection mechanism in the world. It's not the worst to use.
Right.
Um, it's not gonna stop you from healing, but it can prolong your healing. You and I have met people that don't want to touch their heart. They don't want to go in the heart. And they'll come and meet with us in sessions. They'll be here, they'll do all the work, but they refuse to drop down into that heart. They
Mhm.
refuse to do the actual healing, which is to feel the pain. It's a form of resisting.
It's completely resisting. And they think they're fooling us, which
Yeah,
is so cute. It's so cute. But we totally know, but it's like we can't force them to feel the feelings.
right.
So we just have to patiently wait and be where they're at. Like however they show up is where we have to meet them because we like you always tell people we're not witches. We
Yeah,
we can't pick up our wands and start dibbity bobbity booping you into it. It's like you really have to come by it naturally. And when you do, we're there to meet you with
yeah.
that. But you definitely prolong it. You're just delaying the inevitable because it's going to happen.
What do you think the brain is trying to protect you the most from?
That's a good question.
If you just had like one thing to be protected from, what would that one thing be?
The sad.
Yeah. The reality of your
Yeah,
new life.
the reality for sure.
Yeah,
But the emotions that come with accepting the reality.
right.
The sad is just such a surface word that I could say because the sad goes so deep and so far. It's like if you dropped a penny down into that dark hole and you never hear it hit. That's how sad, that's how deep the sad is.
So the other part is watching other people as you're grieving together be stuck in their brains. So for example, you watching Lewis telling everybody, oh yeah, we're just living our new normal. That's totally a brain trick that he was playing on himself. And you're like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna play that brain trick too.
That sounds fabulous. Why didn't I come up with that?
Yeah,
Yes, we're just living our new normal because that kept me in a little script.
yeah,
It provided me the perfect script to do, as you know, we love our Academy Award winning behavior.
Yeah,
I'm going to just stay right here and act okay.
act recovered.
Hmm.
Act recovered. So you're like playing the Jedi mind tricks on all those around you.
Oh, of course. Of course, because I didn't want to talk about the real. The real was so ugly. I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we have to do. Here's the other thing, Erica. We have to do that. We have met grievers that have been able to be in the Jedi mind trick for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They may come to us because their little kitty died, and we start talking to them, and all of a sudden, all this other grief starts to show up.
Yeah.
The truth, you can't keep holding on to that forever. There's no way you're going to hold on to that forever. It's too painful.
Right. Right. And that's, when we start pulling back those layers and we start seeing how things show up for them, and then we start asking, because the situations reveal themselves to us clear as day,
Yeah.
but because they're in it, it doesn't present it to them as so clearly. And then we ask the very specific questions. So what about Dad?
Yeah.
I noticed, and then, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's shocking. Well, he was never there for me, and this and that, and I don't speak to him, and I cut him out of my life 5 years ago. Think you have some emotions about that?
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a little deeper dive there. That's also the brain playing tricks.
It is.
I can
Completely.
100% and not have to deal with that. Even if Dad's alive and Mom and Dad got a divorce and I hate Dad, that's a brain trick. Your brain is going to play tricks to protect you. It's doing its job. It's the smartest tool you have. It is amazing. It's the best computer you have. It remembers everything, and it will play tricks on you.
It's not something you have to run away from. It's not something you have to be alarmed about. It's just something you need to be aware of.
Just be aware. Just be aware. Yeah, that's a great ending right there. Okay, friends, Erica and I are so honored to be here with you every Saturday. We drop our podcast. But if you want to be with us every day, 7 days a week, the number one place to do that is in our Facebook group, our private Facebook group for women who are grieving. Erica and I are in there every day. We're having conversations. We're asking you questions. Like the question today is, what do you need today? Just to make you think about, that's a good one. Isn't that a good one? What do you need right now today? And getting the griever to be able to talk. We know that grievers need to talk. Come into our Facebook group and talk with us. We'd be honored to have you there. Thank you.
And it's a great way to get support. Great way to get support. Thank you.
There's other grievers in there. Is so what's so cool. It's not just us. There's a lot of grievers and we all come together. Bye, friends.
Bye.